were shipwrecked on a jagged, unknown reef.
Have mercy.
They were cast adrift in an angry, uncharted sea.
Sharks! Sharks!
They were flung ashore on a strange, lost island that teemed with 1,000 perilous dangers. Yet together, with a quiet kind of daring and a proud kind of courage, the Swiss family Robinson transformed this island jungle into an exciting tropical paradise.
The world is full of nice, ordinary little people who live in nice, ordinary little houses on the ground. But didn't you ever dream of having a house up on a treetop?
Don't tell me you pull this to ring for the butler.
You said that someday, if you could have your wish, you'd sleep each night so you could see the stars.
I tell you where I'd really like to be. Walking down the night of gas, like on a Sunday after church. And all the girls stroll past, all dressed up.
Do you think when we get to New Guinea, if we ever do, there'll be any girls our age?
By the time we get to New Guinea, we won't care what age they are.
You know those coconut bombs? You don't have to worry about them. They work right well.
I don't want to shoot you, Ernst. Now put that down.
I'll teach him to shoot at me. It was my fault. The gun went off. She didn't mean to fire.
I don't care. I could have been... What did you say? She didn't... It's a girl.
Here in Walt Disney's production of Swiss Family Robinson is all the excitement you could ever wish for in a motion picture. Here is all the fun you've ever dreamed of in the most hilarious race that's ever been run.
Quick, motherfucker! Good boy, Lightning! Hey! Dave, let me get on, Clementine. Give me a chance.
Come on, Rocky, get the win.
Come on, Lightning! Out of my way!
Out the way, Clementine.
Come on.
Whoops.
Here is all the action you ever hoped to see on the screen as the courageous Swiss family is forced to defend the home they had carved out of the wilderness.
Ernst?
I must have seen Swiss Family Robinson about 7 summers in a row. It seemed like it was always out. And it was like, that's weird, because I thought that after getting a little older and understanding the release pattern, they wanted to release things every 7 years. So that would have meant that Swiss Family was out in 67, I think. And then 74, I think, after that. And I could have sworn, no, I saw it at least 7 or 8.
That's with Tommy. That was with Tommy Kirk, right?
Yes, Tommy Kirk and James MacArthur and John Mills and Dorothy Malone. Yeah,
I remember John.
Fantastic picture, great picture. Ken, I saw a screening of it at the El Capitan, and Ken Anakin, who was the director, gave a little talk afterwards, and it was just amazing. And it looked just as fresh and it looked just as new as when it was first shot, because they shot it in, in beautiful Technicolor, and we'll got all the stops.
I want to jump back to Ken Anakin. I met him. He was actually a pretty impressive director. He was one of 3 directors on what was the most ambitious World War II film of all time, The Longest Day, based on the Cornelius Ryan book. But Swiss Family Robinson had the pirate from Bridge on the River Kwai. He was the villain on Bridge. Yeah. And I think Tommy Kirk was in that too. And John Mills, I remembered from Gandhi. Like, he had such gravitas. And Dunkirk, the films he did when he was younger, and
I didn't know he was in Gandhi. I forgot.
Yes.
I didn't know John.
And he was also, he was in Zulu Dawn. He's in all these legendary British imperialist, colonial expansion type vision movies.
Absolutely.
So it was just like such an honest, that was such a fun movie when we were kids, right? And it's the fort at the end, they built this impressive tree house, which now at the park is now Tarzan's.
I know. Well, and then that fort, all those cliffs and rocks and caves that they hide in to fight the pirates. They could have done that. You could have put that around the treehouse. Maybe you still can. I don't know. I don't think you have to know the movie in order to enjoy it. I think this thing of, the kids don't know the IP. And it's like, well, if they're exposed to it, they're going to love it. That's all they got to be, is exposed to it. I think.
You make an interesting point, because Swiss Family Robinson isn't a fun movie as much as it is considered a classic book. So do you rob people from the opportunity to discover a great piece of literature in an older film? Or do you want to just make it easy and sell your latest DVD or at the time or video on demand and say, let's switch it over to, Lion King Tree or whatever nonsense they dream up? This is the age-old question, right?
This is not the age-old question. This is like 3 age-old questions. I've never read the Johann Weiss book. But I'm always of the opinion that the movie is better than the book. I always say that. Mostly because it's a team effort. You can lose the movie with a team, you can slip through your fingers or fall through the cracks, whatever the important thing is that the movie, the message of the movie.
The only difference between the book and the movie is there's a 4th brother in the book. And,
okay.
And things are very convenient in the book. Things are very worked out with relative ease. But, I understand, too, that Disney marketing, which probably governs a lot of the decisions, needs something to brag about. They need to cut a new commercial. They need something to draw people in. And sometimes it's the revamped classic property into something current.
Oh, you mean like Pinocchio? Yeah, like Pinocchio right now.
Well, Pinocchio to me is always let's be honest. First of all, it's a terrifying wooden boy that comes to life. And if anyone witnessed that, they would go berserk and they would immediately try to chop it to pieces.
Your road to redemption is paved with tombstones. No quarter, kill all masters. Go to noquarterkillallmasters.com. Rated R.